I just achieved like a milestone, so I thought I'd just like record that. Um, is whether to like, because what I did was, I mean, it's been quite hard actually. It's like follow your dreams, right? Do what it is that you want to do, right? And then that's not necessarily easy, okay? It's not necessarily easy at all, okay? Um, what I do is I design buildings, okay? So, like, I'm making a model of these houses so we can put, so this whole corner piece, we'll take this whole building out and put in a different one. It's quite advanced stuff, right? I haven't trained to be an architect, okay? Um, I never did that. I did go to university, I did construction management. And so I've just been, because the architects didn't want, either the architects didn't want me in their, there's a level of compliance that you have to accept in order to enter the establishment, if you will. So, like when I went to speak to the architects when I was 28 or whatever it was, in after I finished being a hippie, after that, just kind of that age came to an end in 2001. It sort of started petering out, and then 2004 it was just like asleep again. So I went to the architects and I was like, okay, because we've got a family of architects in our family anyway. Um, and they were like, oh no, your portfolio, art, sculpture. I was just like, yeah. I'd been a bit of a builder up to this point before I was like living in a caravan and stuff. And I was like, yeah, but what about planning permission? What about building regulations? What about engineering? And they were just like, what? That's not like part of architecture. And I was like, what part of architecture doesn't have that in it? Didn't make any sense to me at all. And they said, oh, we should go and do construction management if you care about that sort of thing. But I wasn't going to be pushed out of being an architect, of doing building design. So I did construction management, and I've been working with property developers now for like about 10 years. But it's been hard. It's a hard game because you're quite exposed as the architect. You've got to come up with the ideas, and you've got to you've got people wanting to make money. Okay, and if you can't make the money, if you can't get a successful scheme, if you can't negotiate planning permission, if you can't, you know, that's if you can't do it, you're out. That's it. But I've had one client now for about 7 years, and this is another project that we're doing together. Um, and I just laughed to myself. I did. I was just doing this, just doing this. And I was like, I like what I do. I'm making a model of a place, and it's like building a puzzle, building. It's like Lego or something. It's like I like it. I like what I do. Yay! And I've just got out of debt. And that's it. It's like, yes, I have followed it, and yes, I have basically arrived at a place where I hardly have to work because architecture is really well paid. So I hardly have to do anything. I'm living by the proceeds of, not by the proceeds, but because I'm in the property business, I get to take advantage of this vacant redevelopment site, right? This vacant property. So I don't pay to be here. So the money that I do get has paid off the debt that I accrued when I was living in a flat, buying the software, keeping myself alive, doing little tiny jobs of bits and pieces of people's extensions while I learned my trade and got into about nearly £30,000 worth of credit card debt. Very hard to bear personally. And then went through a sort of a phase of when I had my first big commission of being all very grand about everything. Oh, well, I've made it now. And then loaded myself with debt again to like buy a new car and So now I've calmed myself. I've paid the debt off. I don't have any outgoings, and I really enjoy what it is that I do, and I'm confident at it. And that took, from 2004, 16 years of my life to do that. I haven't got anything, like I've got no money. But I love what I do. It pays really well. I haven't got any debts, and I'm looking really forward to the future. And I have the ability now is to, if I'm not, if I don't have a lot of money to pay out, and I have a very high earning potential, and it's in property, that I can either earn a lot of money very quickly and buy some land and develop my own property because I have the knowledge to do that, or think about, I have the skills, other people have the money, is that I can do a deal. So instead of being paid to do a job, I could take an equity share. I could take a property in a multi-property development, for example, instead of taking a fee. So in the next sort of 5-10 years, I think it's perfectly reasonable to expect that I will be in a place of my actual own with a real nice income, settled, without having to get into any further debt, without having to have a mortgage. So follow your dreams. Unless you do it, you're wasting your time, right? Because you're gonna have to do it at some point or die disappointed, basically. So crack on. It's not going to be easy. You'll probably end up in a lot of debt and homeless. And I was living in a van while I did my degree. I was living in a council flat when I started my business. That drove me completely mad, and now I'm technically homeless right now. And I don't have the means of supporting myself right now, and I'm going to move onto a boat and be homeless on that. But I'm happy. Yay. Say, follow your dreams, friend.